And 9 years back, I was having dinner with the owner of this company. In the middle of the night, late in the evening, the conversation got into ideas of patronage. We started saying, what is patronage and so on and so forth. And I said, look, there are two kinds of patronage. There's something that I call a self-sustaining patronage and there's real patronage. So he said, what do you mean by that? So I said, well, when you build a hospital or when you build a school, it's sustainable patronage. It means that you put in the money, but the asset still belongs to you. And if you want, depending on the fees you charge, it's possible to recover the money that you spent. Nothing wrong with it. Society needs sustainable patronage. But good societies are not built only on sustainable patronage. Good societies are built on real patronage. Real patronage is where you give. And after giving, you have no control on the asset. You have no way of knowing 6 years down the line whether what you've given even exists. But you give because you have faith. So he absorbed that. He's a great man. Then next day in the morning, he said, so give me examples of what do you mean by real patronage. So I gave him 5 examples. One was to set up a city art cultural initiative. And the position that I had is that what happens in every city at the end of the day is that art and culture are finally controlled by a few houses or people. Everybody can't be an artist. Everybody wants to be an artist but can't be an artist. And the whole business of art and culture has to be such that everybody should feel like they can participate. And I said the other is that because I'm a landscape architect, of course, one should try and do public parks. He sent me a message saying, you do these two. He said, you have some ideas, no? So do them. I said, don't you want to talk about how I will do it or budgets? He said, no. So I went and met him. I said, please explain. He said, no, whatever you think you do. I said, should we set some conversations about how much I can spend? He said, no. Jokingly, I said, I'm a good landscape architect. I want to do 100 parks. He said, you do them.
Wow.
I said, are you serious? He said, Aniket, I know you. You will do things so carefully that every year if you can do 2 parks or 3 parks, we'll be lucky. And if you reach 100, that's fine. That's how it started.
Wow.
8 years back. So over the last 8 years, we finished 21 or 22 public parks. This foundation, which is called the UN Mehta Foundation, spends the capex on developing the park. And after the park is over, maintains it for life. Which means that the gardeners are paid by him, the supervisory staff is paid by him, the electricity bills are paid by him, the security systems are paid by him, toilet cleaners are paid by him, everything is paid. And as a result, it has now become a very serious public park movement that, of course, the country is looking at, but the world is looking at, because here is for the first time a private partnership with the government that has led to the renewal of good 18-20 public parks in a city, and 4 more are being executed as we speak. It's an ongoing story.